Hey, what's going on? Good to see you guys again. It's Dave Rettelberger here from the Schottenstein Center and Nationwide Arena. Time to check in once again with our good buddy, Gary, the Arena Guy. Arena Guy, how's it going?
It's going great, Dave. How are you?
You know what? I got a haircut.
Oh my gosh, looking good.
I ventured out. It was one of the where you're going to go and the hairdresser's wearing the mask and I'm wearing the mask and I asked her. I said, "How long did it take you to get used to wearing a mask all day?" And she said, the first day was rough, but after that, you kind of get used to it. So, it was weird for 10 seconds, then totally normal, and then I was just happy to have a haircut.
Yeah, I took my mask off here to talk to you, but my dog, Jules, the Arena dog, and I wear our mask in the house all day long. What's really funny about your haircut is when you do go out now, you see everyone looking so fresh. Everyone's finally, after 3 months, got a haircut. Everyone's looking clean and fresh and not always a clean, I hope. But it's amazing what a haircut will do.
Right. So have you been out much? Are you kind of sticking close to home? Are you doing parks and stuff, or?
I think this weekend we are going to go to the dog park for the first time. It's been closed, and last weekend they opened, or at least I noticed they finally opened. So probably do that. I go to the grocery store. I haven't done any Easton shopping or Polaris shopping or anything like that. But I have gone to a couple of furniture stores. As you know, I recently bought a house, so I'm looking for a couple of things. So, but it's all very casual. I haven't done too much. I'm ready to go see a movie.
Yeah.
Or a concert or something like that. But still sticking pretty much at home.
Yeah, sure. I definitely get that. Well, one of the big news items from this past week, let's just jump right in. Because today we're going to talk about a bunch of stuff in the news that's been happening from sports and music both. And biggest news, it's a big story nationally. Basketball returning right here in Columbus at Nationwide Arena. Tell me about TBT, Gary.
Oh my gosh. How cool is it to be in Columbus right now? Seriously. Right. Nationally, Columbus is making an impact. Not only is TBT the first event at Nationwide Arena since March 8th, but this is the first athletic competition to be held nationally outside of some exhibitions and NASCAR. So, it's been fun to watch baseball games from 1989, but a live competition, and then throw in the fact that the Blue Jackets and Columbus and Nationwide Arena are still in the running to be a playoff hub city for NHL, and that the Memorial Tournament is going to take place, followed by another tournament, the first golf tournament nationally, all here in Columbus.
Yeah.
So it's very cool. So TBT will take place July 4th through the 14th at Nationwide Arena, and it's going to be really great. It's another one of the first here in Columbus nationally, and very, very exciting, and the talent is outstanding.
Yeah, we got a nice peek at the brackets yesterday. That was pretty cool to hear about, and Carmen's crew returning, and big jackpot. But the interesting thing about this event, right, that's different at least for us, no fans.
Yeah, so there's a lot of safety precautions going on. I want to talk about the talent again in a second, but they are being very careful, naturally, about hosting an event in the arena in light of what's been going on with COVID-19 over the past few months. So all the teams will be isolated at the Hyatt downtown, and they will arrive at Nationwide Arena 1 hour before game time, already dressed to play. All teams will undergo multiple levels of testing before they're allowed to play. There's regular testing, temperature, and that sort of thing. And get this is very unlikely, but they're being very prepared. In the case of a positive test that results in the elimination of an entire team, they have 2 standby teams also in quarantine, ready to jump in if they need to.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, no fans. So this has got to be weird especially for the players who are used to playing in front of full arenas.
Yeah.
No matter the sport, the stadiums or arenas or wherever, it's got to be very unusual. No media other than limited ESPN staff. I think ESPN is only going to have 5 cameras, 2 manually operated, and 3, it's my understanding, will be operated remotely. And then local media will have some opportunities with the players and such, but it will all be virtual.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, it's very cautious. very responsible, very, very in keeping with the way of the world at the moment. But boy, we are so excited to host an event at Nationwide Arena. And also it's just so cool that it's the first in the country.
Yeah, and all the games can be carried on the ESPN network families. So it's, it could be ESPN, it could be ESPN2. And, again, they're working out those details, because a lot of other sports don't have their plans together as much as this. So
right.
Obviously there's still some question marks as to exactly where it'll be visible. But every game going to be visible, and it's going to be so great to tune in and even just watch Nationwide Arena live, right?
I know, for sure. And the talent. Get this, 120 teams applied to be a part of TBT. 120 teams applied, 24 made it. So if you consider 24 out of 120 teams made it, the talent is going to be cream of the crop. They're going to be premier teams. So these are going to be great games. TBT, what's also fun about it is it's a single elimination 5-on-5 tournament with the winner take all. And we talked about $1 million. I want us to do the $1 million thing, but I don't. The games will take place July 4th, the first round games, July 4th through the 9th, quarterfinals July 10th through the 11th, semifinals on the 12th, and the championship on the 14th. And I just think fans are so starving for live sports.
Yeah, it'd be so exciting. You were right. There was definitely some novelty to watching some of the old games and some fun stuff.
For a time.
For a time. That time has passed.
Yeah, I think so.
And we're excited definitely to be hosting events there at the arena.
Yeah, the talent. If I can just jump in, the talent. I just scratched my head in amazement at how great this is really going to be. 35 of the players taking part in this tournament have NBA experience. 10 were first-round draft picks. 10 college alumni teams.
Wow.
Included from, of course, certainly OSU and the University of Illinois and others. Numerous international professional players. And we have to talk about one of the teams here. Included in the 24 is the defending champions and the #1 ranked Carmen's Crew.
Yeah, a lot of love for these guys locally.
Yeah, and featuring former OSU players, including OSU legendary player Aaron Kraft, who just announced, by the way, he's retiring from professional basketball, and he's going to enter med school. And so he's played in the TBT tournament 4 times. This could be his last, but we don't know. But it might be your last opportunity to see Aaron Kraft play. Yeah,
he's a great guy. And one of the funny things about seeing him on the shot is on TV, he doesn't look like the biggest guy. But you see him in person, and it's like, whoa. And, I'm a tall guy, and anytime I have to look up to somebody, it throws me off a little bit. So he's
especially you, because you're the tallest staff member we have, I think.
Close to it,
and you know what makes it even better? The reason I'm such an Aaron Kraft fan is, 1, his talent, and 2, he's just the nicest guy. He's the nicest, most polite, kind guy, and he appreciates his fans and anybody who comes up to say hi to him. So that's very cool. And also organizing the team are OSU greats Jared Sellinger and Evan Turner. So,
yeah, another couple great Buckeyes.
Yeah, so Carmen's Crew is the team to look out for. Could take it 2 years in a row, and certainly locally, we're not doing the play-by-play, so we don't have to be – we can be biased. We're rooting for Carmen's Crew, of course.
Yeah. That's allowed, right? Yeah, sure, absolutely.
Yeah.
So it's very cool, and we're gonna try to keep the website nationwidearena.com updated with links and stuff. Obviously on social, like win games where you can catch them and all those details. But very cool stuff. It's so exciting to be having an actual sporting event back in the arena and kind of dusting off some of those cobwebs. So good stuff.
Absolutely, yeah, for sure.
Hey, let's have another news story that kind of snuck under the radar this week, which was our good friend Amy Grant. She's been at Nationwide Arena a couple times recently with holiday shows. You've done a ton of shows with her, but she had an open heart surgery?
Yeah, she had open heart surgery. I'm going to read what it is. I wrote it down because
glad you did.
yeah, she had a battery of tests in February, just checkup type stuff. And they discovered that she had a heart condition that she's apparently had since she was a kid. And so she had open heart surgery on June 3rd. So just recently. It's a rare condition called, I don't know how you pronounce it, but the initials are PAPVR. So maybe that's how they say it. But it actually, what it stands for is partial anomalous pulmonary venous return. And maybe I mispronounced some of those words, but what it is, and I wrote this down because I'm not a doctor and I don't even play one on TV. When one or two of the pulmonary veins returns blood to the right atrium instead of the left. So there's just some routing challenges with the blood. And the doctor said it could not have gone better. And Amy Grant, the past couple of years, we've done her Christmas show. I don't know, what, 2 out of the last 3 years or something?
Yeah, right, yeah.
It's she and Michael W. Smith. They always have a great orchestra and a special guest. And it's just a quality, great way to get into the holiday season. And they're just such nice people. And so I was sad to hear that this happened, but it sounds like things just could not have gone better.
The thing that you're absolutely right. And the thing that I found was interesting is she actually posted a photo of the scar on social media, right? Which, hey, kudos to her for being open and honest, but it's rare because so many artists want to appear invincible, right?
Yes.
So it's
invincible. Get that. Invincible. You get that?
Okay. Yes. Okay. But it's interesting that she actually shared that publicly because, it reminded me of when Bob Seger was had to cancel a show at the last minute Nationwide Arena a couple years ago. Yeah. And it was because he had some back issues. And
literally last minute.
And I remember, it was literally just a couple hours before the doors opened. Yeah. And, some artists will not want to say exactly what's going on, but I remember being on the phone and being in the room with Bob and his manager as he's talking with Bob Seger, and he said, let's be honest about this. Let's tell people exactly what's happening. And so I thought it was kind of cool that Amy Grant, in that same kind of way, was honest and open with her fans and just kind of said, hey, not only did I have open heart surgery, but here's the scar. I mean, in this window of COVID, it would have been so easy just to not even address it at all. Nobody even, nobody's looking for artists to be out there publicly. So it was just an interesting perhaps overshare.
And as you probably know, I'm a little squeamish. So I looked at that photo for about half a second and said, oh, I just hope she gets better. I don't need to see it. Yeah. But I do admire people, like you said, who are just open about it, open heart surgery, just open about it. And in some ways, it kind of says, hey, I'm okay. Yeah. This is a big deal, but I'm okay. I got through this. You can too if you have to go through this. It's kind of a sign of encouragement, I think. And we wish her the best for sure. She's a super sweet person. I think I was thinking before we did this today when my first show with Amy Grant was, and I think it was around 1985 or 1986. Wow. You were just a young pup. And so was I, though. And she had a young piano player in her band named Michael W. Smith. Now they co-headline, but at the time he played piano for her. And he did some songs and everything too. But I remember I got a picture with him way back when. And next time we do him, I should show it to him because that goes back like 30 years.
The first time I met Amy was in the early 90s when I was as part of a radio thing, when she was kind of having her pop radio success.
Yes.
And I remember I took my wife, who might have been my girlfriend at the time, but I took her backstage to meet Amy. And I remember it was a cool thing because you talk for a little bit like you do, and then she walked around the room talking to other people. And then she came back to us, and she came back to my wife and said, Karen, it was really nice to meet you. And having just like remembered her name, like just, I know it's a small thing, right?
But it's cool, so cool.
It was just one of those little moments that, kind of went above and beyond what you usually see. And it meant a lot to my wife, who doesn't go.
No, I think that maybe it's a small thing, but it's really not. It shows that she paid attention.
Right.
And cares. And maybe there's a little bit of an impact during that conversation. So no, that's very cool. I love stories like that because it really does define who she is. I found her to be kind and very talented, of course, but just a very kind person every single time that I've met her. And she did say in one of her posts that she said that her condition is fixable. I'm going to read this because this is a quote.
Yeah, sure, please.
She said, it's fixable. Instead of concerts and camping trips this summer, I'm going to take care of my heart. Are you taking care of yours? Please do. So she used this as an opportunity to encourage others to take care of themselves. And I always feel like people that are celebrities or well-known do have a little bit of a power of influence on other people. You know, encouraging people to do something that maybe they wouldn't normally do positively. And this was it. And I certainly hope with every heartbeat she gets.
Oh, there it is. I was waiting. I was waiting. Every heartbeat. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, she's won 6 Grammy Awards. I don't know if she won one for that song, but most of them went for her pop hits. Although for Christian music, she's won a couple as well. So get well, Amy Grant. Sounds like you're on the road to recovery.
Yeah, I can't wait for another holiday show at the arenas.
Yeah.
All right, so speaking of shows, one kind of anniversary that we should kind of touch on is this weekend. This weekend, when it is sunny and 85 degrees outside, was scheduled to be Buckeye Country Superfest.
And you know, it hasn't always been that way for BCS. You know, we've been through a lot of rain, and you know, it's always been fine for the actual show. But earlier in the day, you know, we've been a little wet, just running around and all that. Perfect weekend for Buckeye Country Superfest. Sadly, due to COVID-19, it is not happening this year. And I'm going to miss it for one. We certainly understand that it's necessary due to the way of the world, but boy, I'm going to miss it. It's one of the highlights of every single year since we've done it. I believe since 2015, yeah.
I think that was the Stones. The Stones was 15, right? So yeah.
That's right. Yep, 15. And so last year was George Strait and Blake Shelton, really great. And you know, what can you do? I mean, it's the responsible thing to do, but boy, gonna miss it.
Yeah, to kind of commemorate it, I'm having Aziza, who's part of our marketing team, put together a playlist of the best of all the artists who played, you know, BCS over the past several years, and we'll share that on Schottenstein Center social media. But I'm going to put that on, and then I'm going to walk like 14 miles, like I would on a show day at the stadium, because we walk so much on those days. When you are walking, and you walk often over to the pre-party over by St. John, and then back and forth, and just, you know, and then, you know, even if you just got to walk downstairs to get a member of the media or take them there, we walk. I mean, I remember my Fitbit hit all-time records on those days. I mean, those stadium shows, we definitely put in some work on those shows.
It's true. The best part about it is you're doing a lot of walking and getting a lot of exercise, but it's not like, okay, I'm going to the gym for an hour, I'm going to exercise for an hour. You just do it throughout the day. And when you finally slow down at the end of the night, your muscles start to ache a bit. Boy, I ran around a lot today. I got a lot of exercise today. But
I definitely feel
realize it at the time.
The next morning, right, when the adrenaline wears off and you wake up and your legs are just like, oh, hey, remember walking around in the stadium for a couple hours? And we get there so early, and then of course we're stay late. But those are special days. And
absolutely. And one of the cool things is just this year, Buckeye Country Superfest was a finalist for USA Today's Festival.
That's right.
Of the year, and finished right up there. And how cool is that? Because we were up against the major cities in California and Texas and Florida, and Buckeye Country Superfest has that kind of a reputation. And we have attracted fans from every state in the continental U.S. Over the years.
Yeah.
So there's a great attraction and interest in the event, and I know a lot of people are going to miss it this year. It'll be back.
Yeah, for sure.
And bigger and better than ever. But it was cool that USA Today recognized us as having one of the best festivals. And the cool thing is, it's not a tour. It's a festival and a concert that is exclusive to Columbus that we put together, and it's an exclusive show. So it's not like we're waiting for somebody to go on tour. It's so unique that way. So
yeah, it is. It is really unique, and that's why people do travel, like you said, from all over America, and even some international folks. But people do come, and it's a special day, and I definitely look forward to doing that again. Speaking of things we're looking forward to doing again, you mentioned it in the beginning here today, and you know, going to movies. You know, you mentioned being excited. So movie theaters starting to open back up here, slowly but surely. I see a couple of the smaller independent theaters in Columbus, Studio 35, kind of starting to do some stuff. And I'm always keeping an eye for our friends at the Gateway Film Center. I know they're working on some stuff too. So how are you feeling about going back to movie theaters?
Well, for one, I think the movies that I generally see, I mean, I do see some of the blockbusters, but the movies I generally see are the ones where I'm like one of 5 people in the theater anyway.
You're socially distanced by your movie choice.
Yeah. So, we have to be concerned about social distancing and all that sort of thing. I love watching movies at home and everything, but I really love going to the theater. One, it's the big screen. I love the occasionally to get the theater popcorn. And just getting out, and that experience is different than just laying on the couch at home and then being interrupted by this or that or whatever. So I do miss that experience. I know a lot of the local theaters outside of some of the independents aren't really opening until July, but they could open on the 15th of June. And the only issue is, what are they going to show? A lot of the studios have pushed back their major releases because of the uncertainty of when theaters could open again. It's not the same in every state either. So they're not going to release a movie in Ohio when, say, New York is still not open. I mean, I don't know if New York is or not, but just as an example. So it's going to be interesting to see what they show, because a lot of movies are now being released direct to Netflix or streaming because the theaters were not available. And some of them have discovered that might be the way to go for the future, and they may forego theaters altogether. So I don't really know. I think one movie, I don't recall which one, maybe the James Bond movie, I'm not sure, was pushed way back, and now they're pushing it forward again now that things are starting to open up. But I'm excited to go when we can, and when something's playing. Yeah,
Christopher Nolan, I think the Tenet movie is the big blockbuster that they did just push back to the end of July, but they're trying to have as one of the first big national releases.
Maybe that's it.
So we'll see how that goes. But I'm excited, and I love to get back to the movies. A lot of the drive-in movie theaters are having some fun right now with some stuff, and there's drive-in music tours. I know Alan Jackson is actually doing one where he travels from city to city playing it at drive-ins, and I know that there's no real big scoop here, but as that has been a thing, we've definitely looked at it from our Columbus Arena sports and entertainment side.
Yeah, we're still looking at some possibilities for live entertainment. There's some of these shows like Garth and others that they're showing it. He's performing in one location and showing it on screens throughout the country. And a lot of places, including Easton and others, are showing movies who normally don't show movies, but they're having these. And I think it's just a way to get things rolling, get things started. I know on the Christian music scene, Michael W. Smith and Stephen Curtis Chapman are doing a drive-in theater tour, and Alan Jackson, like you said, and others. So don't know. We're looking into that possibility. It would be cool to do that. It creates a whole bunch of different challenges and things, but it's certainly doable. It just need to work it all out and have the artists available to do it.
Yeah, right. It's got to make sense financially. That's part of the challenge too, right? So.
Yeah, and a lot of these things at this point in time are not really done for financial gain as much as it is to just get started again. So could possibly do it if we could break even, so we'll have to see how that goes.
Yeah, sure. It's a cool idea, and I love people trying new stuff. It's just some interesting things out there happening as we're trying to work through all this fun.
Everyone's trying to adapt to getting back on track and getting back to, we overuse the word normal, but getting back to normal. And it's a process. We are going to be the last one to open, as far as large gatherings go, as far as the arenas. So have to be creative to see what we can do in the meantime. And the TBT is one way of doing that. No fans basketball tournament that will be broadcast on television. That's very cool. Concerts will be more difficult because you need fans for concerts.
Yeah.
But it's a way to get things going and becoming active again.
For sure, absolutely. And speaking of being active, all this time at home has let me watch a couple more movies than I normally would. A couple things that have been on my saved list of movies I wanted to watch. And this past weekend,
Uh-oh.
I was going down the rabbit hole of movies, and I saw in a movie I was watching an appearance by the Arena Guy.
Did you really? You haven't seen this? Did you watch Super Size?
Watch Super Size 2. Super Size Me 2. Yes. So
you didn't tell me that.
I wanted to hold it until I could actually tell you this. Until we had a chance to talk, because I immediately called my family down, and I'm like, everybody loves the Arena Guys. You know, I mean, I thought, but I saw your cameo in the Morgan Spurlock documentary, Super Size Me 2. For folks who don't know what we're talking about, why don't you fill folks in and how you ended up in this movie?
I haven't seen it myself, but trust me, I have at least a dozen people, now 13. So prior to coming to Columbus, I had a radio show for about almost 7 years, and it was a pop culture, celebrity-oriented show, and I interviewed musicians, actors, people in the entertainment business every day. And had Morgan Spurlock on when he did his very first documentary of notoriety called Super Size Me, where he just ate at McDonald's and all that. It's a very well-known documentary. And so I heard all these years later, actually when these are often were done on the phone. So when I have the opportunity to maybe meet somebody that I spoke to on the phone, I have a guest book. So I wanted to go and meet him and have him sign my guest book and just meet him because he was on my radio show, and Super Size Me is great. So he opened in an old, I believe, Wendy's location in Westerville, a chicken place. And I think he duped everybody, including some people at the city of Columbus, because he acted like it was a kind of a trial run, an opening of this restaurant to prepare for the grand opening. And people came and you got free food. But the weird thing is you had to sign a waiver when you were in line in case the news media or somebody captured your image. And I thought that's really weird. I mean, normally if the news media gets you on camera, I mean, you're in public, it's okay.
It's news.
It's news and you're part of what's going on. It's not that big of a deal unless you're doing something unique where you need permission. And Experience Columbus was there. They gave him a proclamation from the city, from the mayor, and all this stuff. And they were shooting everything, cameras everywhere. And so part of me, knowing the business as I do, was a little suspicious that something was going on other than an opening. But then I thought, well, he's a filmmaker. He's documenting this. He had a TV series at the time, and he's documenting this. So that all happened, and I met him, talked to him for quite a while, talked to him about being on the show and other things, and got the free food. It was good. And it was all about free-range chicken and being healthy and no steroids and all that kind of stuff. And he had signage all over the walls about that. And so it was over. I went home, and the thing closed down. It never opened again. And I'm thinking, you know what? This was a trick. He was doing this for a documentary or a movie or something, and he duped everybody, including the city of Columbus, and got me out of bed to go there. But that was okay. And that's what it was. And so it turned into Super Size Me 2. And I still need to see it myself.
Well, the movie is, I tripped across it. It's streaming for free on YouTube right now.
Oh, okay.
As last I checked. And spoiler alert, Arena Guy's cameo. I don't think you actually have any speaking lines in the movie, but no. Yeah, I see you, you're in the line waiting to get in, and then a couple of shots at the press conference inside the restaurant in the last third of the movie. But it's definitely worth checking out. And I was just so, I knew that story, which is actually why I started watching the movie, to see if I could find you in there. I was very, very pleased.
Oh my gosh. One of my friends from Illinois who now lives in California called me from California and said, that was so cool to see you in this movie. I said, what? And I'd completely forgotten about it. And then since then I've received a bunch of emails and text messages from people saying that they saw it. So I need to see it myself.
Well, they pushed the Oscars back.
Yes.
We shouldn't hear about any nominations for you for quite a while.
Okay. I'm already contacting designers to say I'm available to wear their clothes. So
I like the Justin Timberlake shirt. I think that works.
Oh, yeah. So normally the past few times I've been in the Arena Guy Record Library, which is downstairs in my house in Studio 2, but I did Good Day Columbus today and just did it from the Arena Guy Library. So we're in here today, and I think the lighting's a little bit better. Justin Timberlake.
Yeah.
Look at that face.
Looks like he's been in quarantine with the beard and the fresh.
He does. And you know what's funny is sometimes I don't shave for weeks at a time, but the night before I do Good Day Columbus, which is once a month, third Wednesday of every month, I will shave. So I'm freshly shaven.
There you go. Lucky us.
Yeah, just a little unnecessary tidbit.
Hey, one tidbit that is definitely necessary before I let you go. We've been working with our friends from the Red Cross on some blood drives. And we talked about TBT, but there's still another blood drive this month at Nationwide Arena.
Yeah, this is our third event that we've done since Dan and Shay, all blood drives. And with COVID-19, there's been a real need for blood donations. People have been distracted and doing other things and all that, and donating blood has not been the priority that it once was. So we're trying to get that going again. And we're just proud to partner with the American Red Cross and Ohio Health. And so our blood drive will be tomorrow, if you catch this, the 18th of June.
There you go.
From 4 at the Front Street lobby at Nationwide Arena. And walk-ins are welcome. They do prefer appointments just so they can kind of plan. And you can go to redcrossblood.org, and there's a sponsor code, GMC, that you can put in there and set an actual appointment and do it that way. Or you can just walk in. All that information, if you missed any of this, just go to nationwidearena.com and it's there. But we're very happy to be partnering with the Red Cross and Ohio Health on another blood drive. Yeah,
it's a great chance if you're just people are just looking for an excuse to come and get their Nationwide Arena fix.
Yeah, for sure.
Very cool. And as you said, that information and the TBT basketball tournament information all at nationwidearena.com. And follow the SCHOTT on social. Follow Nationwide Arena on social for all the latest updates on everything and all our fun events. And Arena Guy, where can people find you?
Facebook is real easy. Just look under the Arena Guy, Instagram, Twitter, _ the Arena Guy, and the Arena Guy podcast with Dave. Backstage Pass podcast is wherever you get your podcasts. And also last few have been on YouTube. So that's been fun too. I can't wait to resume those. This conversation is a great way to bridge that gap for the time being. But yeah, ready to get back to some podcasts as well. But yeah, check those out.
For sure. And then our next time we talk, it's going to be the 1-year anniversary of the last time the 21 Pilots played the arena.
Oh, okay.
So we're gonna touch base on some of those highlights and revisit all things 21 Pilots that we've had over the past few years, and quite a few good stories and adventures.
All right, take care, and we'll see you then.